Well, he did literally take a bullet for her. So Tita is out of the party for now. And so according to my notes, after Agate has been given the medicine, Liberal News issue 7 will be on sale at the general goods store. If I can find it, there we go. There we go. Okay, so as is tradition, let's go ahead and read this issue of the Liberal News. Breaking story, shock over terrorist incident. Incident occurs in broad daylight. According to an announcement made by the Royal Army Intelligence Division, a terrorist attack occurred at the Zeiss Central factory. Concrete details remain scarce, but the smoke canisters deployed by the criminals caused a temporary state of panic. After the incident, residents witnessed soldiers dressed in blue uniforms exit the building. The Royal Army has expanded checks and is currently tracking the phony soldiers' movements. Mistrust of those serving in blue uniforms. Relating to the blue uniforms reported at the scene, several witnesses have indicated they were the uniforms worn by the Royal Guard. The Intelligence Division has avoided making any statements regarding the matter. But if this information proves to be true, the implications could affect the entire Royal Army. We will carefully follow how this situation develops in the near future. Blackout related to the current incident? In the evening, 2 days prior to the incident, an unusual phenomenon occurred within the city of Zeiss, which caused all ordnance to black out temporarily. The Royal Army is investigating whether or not there is any connection to the recent terrorist attack. Well, there isn't, but let's not tell them that because we kind of caused the blackout. Theories regarding the terrorist incident. The perpetrator's objective in this latest terrorist incident is still unclear at this time. The Liberal News has therefore compiled some of the theories being bandied about in connection with the incident. Theory 1, Imperial Conspiracy. Of course someone thinks this. The Imperial forces were behind the incident in order to get their hands on the Central Factory's technology. This theory suggests that a mercenary force like a Jaeger Corps was used to carry out the actual attack. Theory 2, Insurrection within the Royal Army. An insurgency was carried out by a part of the Royal Army and, in order to send a shockwave across the kingdom, this same group sought to occupy the Central Factory. However, without any prior incident from the military, this theory does not seem plausible. Theory 3, attacked by the Ancient Dragon. Okay then, that's even more ridiculous. A rather odd theory by a group of researchers that purports that the Ancient Dragon living within the mountainous region attacked the Central Factory. This theory may be best addressed by returning to it in a few weeks to see if any verifiable evidence has been left behind. Yeah, probably not. Culture, touring ancient sites. The Grand Cell region and the Ahenberg Wall? The Ahenberg Wall, the latest line of defense during the 100 Days War, which protected the royal city from the invading Imperial Army, also sounds like somewhere from Three Houses. This wall, likened onto a protective shell encompassing the whole of Grand Cell, is one of several ancient ruins scattered across the kingdom. If one were to climb atop the ramparts from both the Garoon and Sanctine gates, one just might be able to feel the wisdom of the ancients through the majestic structure. Travel, the place to get away from it all. This time I'll be introducing a hotel rather than an inn. The hotel of which I speak, the Roenbaum, boasts of the highest pedigree in the entirety of the Liberal Kingdom. This hotel stands next door to Grand Cell Castle, a location that other establishments can only dream of, and is just a few minutes walk from Grand Cell's East Block. If one intends to fully enjoy the annual festivities, then this is one place which should not be left off your list. And especially for those celebrities from all walks of life, by all means, take this opportunity to experience its critically acclaimed service and give our country lots of money. Yeah, that place is probably ludicrously expensive. So, there are a few loose ends that I want to take care of in this city before heading to the Bracer Guild. And by loose ends, I just mean Temp Librarian Plus. We can finally turn in this book. Now, like I said earlier, we could have done this much earlier in the chapter, like this whole quest I mean, all 3 of the missing books, but I prefer to do it now just because things flow a little better this way. It requires you to go to Elmo Village way earlier than you're supposed to complete the first part of it. So we've brought back the herb woodpecker. We can read it in the library now whenever we want to. Yep, rest of the work. There are more books to find. I love Estelle's face there. So, all aboard the SS Librarian, I guess. Well, she doesn't need to know about Phantom Thief B. No words. Okay, that's probably gonna make it even worse, isn't it? Huh, that's vague. Hertz's Adventure 2. Yep, they stole the sequel so no one would figure out how that story ends. I like how, like, the pauses in Estelle's line there were probably reflecting that she was writing that down in the Bracer notebook as she was speaking. Oh, wow, I'm actually wondering about this. I don't know if this line was like this in the Japanese version, or if the localizers added this in as kind of a joke about how, when FC was first released, the second game in the Trails in the Sky series was not localized, and it wouldn't be localized for almost a decade. And trust me, that's a really, really bad thing. Well, fortunately for Estelle, I know exactly where this book is. Oh, okay, so in order to get this one, we actually have to leave the city, and that means going to the guild. Yeah, he's just went on an airship and got the heck out of here. No response from the fortress, huh? That's suspicious. Something weird is going on here. Remember that whole mole thing? And speak of the devil and she shall appear. Okay, wow, they... Again, this game loves predicting my, loves, you know, making my predictions come true. Oh, yeah, you probably got an earful for that, didn't you? It is sort of interesting how in Chapter 2 we saw a lot of Niall but no Dorothy, and in this one we're seeing a lot of Dorothy without Niall. Wait, you went to Leyston Fortress? I get a feeling that they didn't take that well. Okay, then. You know, aren't you... like, isn't photographing military installations illegal in most countries? Pretty sure she wouldn't even care, though. Yeah, exactly. Seems like that's true in this universe, too. So yeah, this is a nice shot of the fort. Wait a second. Also, if you remember well, this photo was actually in the opening movie. Well, actually, more like the top right center. I'd say it's perfectly clear. I'd say that looks like an airship to me. Well, I'm pretty sure Dorothy doesn't notice a lot when she's taking pictures. Yeah, looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Yeah, you'd think that'd be the last place that terrorists would try and fly over. We've got to be very careful about that, because you see, that's the kind of poking around that gets you quietly assassinated. Remember, we still have that whole mole issue, and we still don't quite know who that is. Which means probably no Dorothy with us. She doesn't really know the meaning of the word carefully. So, this part is a little annoying if you want to complete Temp Librarian Plus, because, yeah. Once we've done this, the game doesn't actually let you go anywhere except Leyston Fortress. Don't worry though, this is actually not the end of this chapter. There are a lot of guides that say certain side quests expire after going to Leyston Fortress. Going there on foot is not the point they're talking about. And suddenly a new side quest has shown up. So even though this one actually says term medium, can we actually report anything here? Yeah, well, we can report Temp Librarian Plus, but there are even more of those. Out of curiosity, I want to see what happens if you try talking to Tina and Agate right now. Well, something turned up, and, well, if you don't hear from us in a few minutes, assume that we've been shot. So, that Ritter Roadway Monster quest. It's actually mandatory, despite the fact that it says medium term. There is no way to complete this chapter without also completing that quest, because, yep, it's right there. It's directly on your path to the fortress. So, I actually want to try something. There's no real reason not to use my Death Blow 2 right now. But I'm probably going to have to give up on Attack 2 if I want to use it. Oh, okay, that counts as a status quartz, which I can't use, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to give up, I guess, Petrify on Estelle? Because I'm going to lose access to a lot of Joshua's art if I do that. Actually, no, I still have White Gahana. Okay, that's good. Because there's really nothing else in this chapter to use that on. Okay, let's go into Tactics, Battle Position. I think I'm going to switch to a line formation here. And let's go. Okay, Death Blow 2 work on you? Yes, it does! Okay, that's at least a decent use of it, getting that thing out of the fight early. Yeah, I know from the magic of this being not my first attempt at this, that Deathblow 2 does not work on the Bloody Saber. I said earlier that it works on most of the side quest monsters, but this is clearly one of the ones that it does not work on. I think I'm actually going to go for an Earth Wall here. I think Joshua just got knocked out of range with that, and now he's knocked right back into range. Okay, don't think that'll kill anyone, but it will delay me, which is annoying. Okay, got the Earth Wall up. And I can Hellgate right into the middle of all of them. And why not? Let's just do that. Okay, that's 2 of the smaller ones down. You still don't want to underestimate the Bloody Saber, even if it's the last thing left. Can I get Earth? Nope, not yet. So I'm going to have to go ahead and use a big heal. Ugh. Go for a stealth, please. Thank you, even though you do inflict delay. Yeah, that delay effect is really annoying. It's kind of why you want to get rid of the solid doses as fast as you can. Speaking of delay, how about a taste of your own medicine? Okay, that thing's down. It's just the big dog left, and I guess I'll put an Earth Guard on Joshua. Just set that up. A Clock Up EX on my main Earth Ball user. And yeah, let's just obviously go ahead and heal yourself. This is the benefit of Clock Up EX plus Earth Guard. You make yourself immune to a lot of things. And now I'll Clock Up EX myself. This should make things a bit easier. Yes, I think by now you're probably starting to realize just how good Clock Up EX is at this point in the game. Okay, weak to water and wind. How much? I don't really have any of those, so I guess I'll just go for this, maybe? It is very weak to wind, though. Yeah, we sort of have to be doing more damage than this per attack, so... Oh, and you're actually out of healing range of Estelle, aren't you? Okay, that means, I guess, heal. I'll need to buy more of these later. So there's only a single enemy left, you can kind of afford to just have Joshua spam delay. Can I get... Yes, I can get with Dual Strike. Okay, will this do enough? It probably should do enough. Looks like it only has about 400 or so left. Yep, that was enough. Also, it has death throws, but it doesn't matter because there's nothing else here on the field. So, that is not a particularly easy fight. And that is a new S-break for Estelle. Unfortunately, Barrage is still single target, but it is the strongest single targeting move in this entire game. So, that is actually a decent niche for Estelle. And there's that mandatory monster side quest done. And here's the point where we need to exercise caution. And also, be a bit quiet because I love this song so much. Well... Ah, Dorothy. Never change. I'm terribly sorry I didn't know. If I see one, I will inform you immediately. That's a pretty cool gate. And here we have someone we've actually never seen before. Obviously, yet another person who knows our father. Who doesn't in this world? Really? You'd think they'd have people everywhere. Let's just not shake this up too much. It doesn't actually matter which of these you say here. Well, yeah. Why do I get the feeling that maybe we shouldn't have shown that picture just yet? Like, honestly, I feel like the best this is gonna do is get Dorothy killed. Again, you'd think terrorists would try and avoid flying over a military base. Oh, but he kind of has an excuse. True, if there's no one here at all. Obviously they're busy searching for something. Yeah, that photo obviously doesn't show the ship, like, landing in the fortress, it just shows it flying over there. That could mean any number of things. And here we come to one of my few major gripes with this game's overall plot, actually. Yeah, just when we needed concrete evidence, that happens. Yeah, you should probably get that fixed sometime. I mean, this is a major military installation. It'd be a really bad thing if that gate wasn't working. Oh wait, he's been kidnapped. I'm sure you will, but why do I get the feeling that's a very bad thing? And we're not allowed in at all. So, yeah. That phenomenon, obviously they're referring to the exact same thing that took out all the power in Zeiss when we were messing around with the Black Orbment, which would mean, as Estelle is saying, the Black Orbment is in there. We need to go back and regroup somewhere safe before we talk about this. And thankfully we're warped all the way back. And, you can see a little bit of a spoiler here. I think you're not supposed to see these two just yet, but, yeah. They're already taking their places. So, there's two things that annoy me here. Basically, we're unraveling one of the key mysteries of this game just due to two total coincidences happening in a row. The first, Dorothy just so happened to take a photo of that gate just as the airship was passing over, and two, the orbital shutdown phenomenon just happened to kick in while we were investigating the gates, thus proving that the Black Orbment is in there. So, yeah, it is a little bit of a contrivance, and that is one of my main gripes with this game's overall story, but at least it does get everything rolling, and now that it has been rolling, things are about to really escalate. Basically, we now know that at least someone in the military, it's not just that there's a mole for the Sky Bandits, it's that someone in the military itself is the one behind this whole conspiracy. So yes, the Royal Guardsmen are being set up. That was pretty obvious from the start. So, rather than a case of terrorism, it seems to be a case of something is going very wrong within the army right now. We may have just hit on a major conspiracy. Yes, you were standing right there the whole time. That surprise was kind of spoiled thanks to full screen mode. Well, that's good, because we're probably gonna need you right now. And thus, Tita's face solves everything again. Also, Leiston Fortress is where both Mayor Dalmor and the Sky Bandits are being held, all of them linked to conspiracies involving the men in black armor. So, everything points to that fortress. Whoever is behind all this is in there. Oh yeah, just infiltrate the most secure military facility in the country. Just like that. That's totally gonna end well. And yes, remember this policy from earlier? We're not allowed to interfere with government organizations or armies. Ah yes, always a loophole. This one rule pretty much takes priority over everything else in the Bracer Guild. And, thankfully, we have a way to get to that loophole, the Professor being kidnapped. We can just say we're doing this to protect him. And yeah, this is the point where I first played this game where I was like, oh wow, things are getting really awesome right now. We are infiltrating the most secure military fortress in this country. Of course, how the heck do we get in there? Obviously, that wouldn't work. Estelle's actually got a pretty good memory here. That's a really smart idea. One of her best ideas all game, actually. Except for that. Okay, so biosensors render that option moot. If only we had some kind of device that interfered with biosensors. If only someone we knew happened to be working on something like that very, very recently. Extremely convenient that we got that working just now. And considering that it was an untested prototype, wasn't at the factory on public display, the ones going in there didn't think to take it. And so, we are fast approaching the end of this chapter. But we're finally allowed to leave town, and because of that, we can finish up Temp Librarian. So, that X in the middle of a field of circles, it's actually this thing right here. There is Hertz's Adventure 2. So let's hand in this one. Don't mind the fact that we have 2 more people with us now. Only one more. Don't worry, you'll have a break from librarian duty soon by infiltrating what is essentially the Fort Knox of this universe. Yeah, that's a break. 31 cypress trees. Ah, you 3 cypress trees nested atop this grassy hill. Afflictions of the far off lands draw nigh unto me like wine barrels tumbling lightly down a soft incline as I drift into reverie, enveloped within the resonance of the tolling bell. Well, we kinda solved a case like this back in Ruin. So, before we infiltrate the fortress, and that, by the way, is when everything in this chapter will expire, so make sure you've done everything you need to before then, we're gonna get this final book, and it's at Sanctheim Gates. Okay, so here we are at the gates. Oh, by the way, there's this guy here, Gundolf, who I believe has the same name as a minor boss in Fire Emblem 4. And he seems to know Agate, and they have a kind of a nice conversation if you go back here after he's been poisoned. Yes, we have a very urgent librarian quest to complete. Anyway, what the note implied was 3rd floor and barrel. So this here is only the 2nd floor. Here is the barrel on the 3rd floor. And this is why completing this quest earlier might be helpful. Because it gives you this. You have done well, though I know you not. I salute you for coming so far. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a quartz researcher, and the criminal who hid the 3 books. I have used the riddles as a way to find someone intelligent to whom I could entrust my work, and you lived up to my hopes and expectations remarkably. Consider the enclosed quartz your reward. Take care when examining it. Well, we've already met Phantom Thief B, so it can't be them this time. Thank you for all your time. I truly hope that my quartz will prove useful to you. P.S. If you have found this package by sheer chance, how embarrassing, and lucky you! Please return it to the 2nd floor archives of the Central Factory. Yep, Impede 3. This is the main reason why you want to do this early, because it can get you Aerostorm quite easily. Let me just quickly check if I can get that on the cell right now. Yep, that's enough for Aerostorm. And that is finally our work as a temporary librarian done. 31 Cypress Trees is probably my favourite of the books that you find in this chapter, so I'll be reading that in bonus footage. And thankfully we get to keep it. Finally, Estelle's career as a librarian is over. Unless it was her who hid the books. And before everything escalates even more, let's report these in. We're now up to 260 BP. And that should be every side quest completed for this chapter. Okay, so let's head on over and grab that device. Yeah, that pretty much sums him up. So, to find the device, we have to check in here. Doesn't look like there's anything. Then go upstairs. It can be a little easy to miss, but this sprite off in the corner here was not there before. This is the bioscan dampener. Yeah, kinda convenient that he was working on one of these. And as Agate says, we have to now head back to the guild. Don't worry though, we haven't actually hit the point of no return yet. Yes, we actually have a map of Lacen Fortress, although Agate's gonna just display his text box over the top of it. But, yes, we've been there through the main gate before. Let's just say that's not the way we're gonna be entering this time. Well, that's ominous. Definitely. If anyone in the military found out we had that, that could cause huge trouble for the guild. So, we've got to make sure that we are not caught with that on us. I love how she singles out Agate here. Just be careful, though. Again, we really don't want to antagonize the army right now. Yeah, so just don't use the business end of your sword. The blunt end, maybe, not the business end. Plus, we've solved several criminal cases before. What is unraveling an army conspiracy compared to that, actually? Yeah, it's probably much worse. That is a big burden to put on her shoulders. Yeah, so technically she can't order Tita not to come. But we all knew this would happen. And conveniently, we kind of have to bring her. Just as long as you don't go firing that cannon. I don't think there's another way. So, now's a good time to mention something about Agate. There's a TV trope called Jerkass Has a Point, and I think Agate's one of the best examples of this I've seen in fiction. He's definitely a jerk about all this, but he does have a very valid point that bringing a civilian, and a kid at that, to the infiltration of a military base is not such a great thing to have on our record, and it could end very, very badly. Estelle and Joshua have points too, though. It is interesting how this all plays out. And if operating that device means we can make sure he's okay, then she'll have to come. And in the end, Agate only really relents because, really, there's no other option. He doesn't really change his stance at all. And again, it's interesting. In other words, yeah, the technical term for this is tsundere, isn't it? There are actually a lot of people who do forget that, being harsh as a defense mechanism is kind of a requisite for a tsundere. It's not just a character who alternates between being a jerk and not being a jerk. It's someone who acts like a jerk because they're uncomfortable expressing their real feelings. Let's hope this all goes well. So with that, our next destination is the airport. And this is the point where, if you have not done everything you want to do in this chapter, you should probably go ahead and do it now. Aha! The return of the invisible shopkeeper! I have a feeling it's immune to this. Yep, it's immune to it. Wow, you guys are moving a lot.
Not now. Finished. Not now.
Okay, one of them has been inflicted with faint, which is good, except delay.